What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on Spicy TV. Today we're going to be diving into the CRX again. We've got some more things to take care of on this. So as you've seen in the last video, we got this thing running and driving, got the transmission fixed, the throttle bearing was stuck, took care of things. We've been driving it for about a week or two, and overall pretty good car. It still needs a lot of work, a little TLC here and there. We're going to dive into some creature comforts today, that being a radio and some speakers. So what we're working with here is what I believe to be like a 92, 93, 94 edition Clarion. So this thing actually works, but you hit a bump and it starts loading a CD. And these speakers work, those ones don't. With that being said, we're also lacking a lot of cool features like Bluetooth and the screen functioning. So needless to say, it's time to make a major update. I'm a big fan of the Kenwoods. I've got this in the Odyssey. There's actually one in the Civic. I've got one in my Gold CRX. And we're gonna pair that with some Kenwood 350 watt 6.5s. So we're gonna throw those in the front and the back and see how everything sounds. All right, moving from the inside of the car up to the front here, as you can see, we've got another box. These are some LED lights from AUXITO. They're a LED lighting company and also sell automotive accessories such as jump starters, things of that nature. They have been kind enough to send us some 9006 bulbs to replace our low beams. So we're gonna give these guys a shot, toss these 9006 bulbs in our barn find CRX SI and see if this thing brightens up the road for us. From all the reviews and their other brand ambassadors, it's looking pretty good, so we're super excited to have them on board to help us with the restoration and modification of this 91 Honda CRX SI. Appreciate you guys, and let's get into this video. So we're gonna start this video off with the radio install. I've done a few of these. Everything's a little bit different, but this car already has a Clarion in it. It was installed a long time ago, so fingers crossed whoever done it did a good job and bought an adapter harness and didn't chop it. Let's get these bezels off and get this radio out of here. So one thing with these cars, the climate control is very brittle. As you can see, mine's pretty smoked. So we're gonna have to be very careful with this and try to be as delicate with it as we can. So with all those screws out, there's supposed to be 2 over here and then 2 on this side, 1 at the top of the bezel or trim, center console area, and 1 in here. Just like that, it's out. These cars, if you pop it in reverse and pull the e-brake as high as you can possibly get it, those come off pretty easy by sweeping the back up. And it looks like we've got some friends in here, so that's gross. That's all pretty solid, no cracks in here. But yeah, this thing is just, I'm afraid to take the radio out because I think it's just gonna come apart with it. That's the whole thing right there. It's insane. I don't know what it is about these cars, but they all break. So now that we got the radio out, we can find out if they bought an adapter harness or if they just snipped it behind the factory plug. So this is actually the radio harness. right here. I'll turn the exposure up for you so you can see it. But that is the aftermarket plug for the radio itself. Looks like it's got a fuse in line. Let's see. Look at that. So this is what I was talking about. Someone bought an adapter harness. If we were to go back to a factory radio, this would be the plug. You would unplug this, plug your factory radio back in, and you're solid. So that's a big thing, a big win for us, because now we can just snip everything back here, put this back in the old radio, and reuse their jumper harness with our new radio plug. Awesome. So this little Clarion that we pulled out was manufactured in March of 2000. So I'm just 2 years older than this guy. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, it's held up good. Clarion's a good radio, obviously. It's got its quirks, but when you sit in a moisture-ridden vehicle for 10 plus years without turning on, I'm sure you'd have your quirks too. But another thing I love about the CRX is you normally have to have a key that goes down in between the radio and the bezel itself that it sits in to unlock these tabs. But the awesome thing about it is this whole sub console unbolts with these 4 screws out of the CRX. So we didn't have to have the radio keys for the Clarion, which is, it's kind of rare. I mean, you can get universal keys, but you know, it's easier just to be able to unbolt this whole thing and then pop this in there to actually release the radio. Shout out the Snap-on, man. I got to use my new pocket screwdriver. The second thing here that makes this a lot easier is this is our radio harness. Like I was saying, the original installer of the radio actually bought this harness, so this plugs in like it was the factory back of the radio. The awesome thing about that is I can wire this outside of the car. I'm not going to be bent over in the car trying to butt connect or crimp or do whatever I'm going to do to wire up the new harness. So this is a do it on the bench type deal, and saves me a lot of time, headache, and back pain. But anyway, let's get this thing wired up. With our radio installed in the bezel via the new bracket here and our plug wired up, we can now insert this into the radio. You want to make sure that you've got a fuse in there. And it's always a good idea to test before you completely install. I've done that when I was younger and it's really frustrating. But what we're going to do is we're just going to leave everything loose here. I'm going to let this sit in my lap. Basically just plug it back up to the vehicle with it off. One-handed. Now that we're hooked up back there, just going to float this key over. So now you can see that we're on the display section here. If we go to source, HD radio,
in the back of your mind and my eyes. Don't need nothing but a good time. How can I resist?
with our little testing done, we verified the radio worked. I've taped the wiring harness up, tidied it up a little bit, that way it's not rubbing raw on the corners of this dash and stuff. So now I've got this bolted back in. We'll do one more check before we start bolting the center console back in. In the run position, it pops up, comes on its own. Hit the source button.
Beat the heat.
So with that, it does come back on. It did go through standby mode because we did have it unhooked. So now when we turn it off, it should power off on its own. We should be able to key on. Boom, look at that. Went right to 98.5. Awesome. Good deal. Now we can slap this whole center console back together and we should be good to go. We can move on to the door speakers at this point. Honey, you'll never guess what they had holding this speaker in.
What?
A piece of cardboard. I ain't never. What? I ain't never seen no shit like that. Well, that's interesting. Alright, I've seen some wild stuff in my day, but I've never seen one use a piece of cardboard as a backing plate for a speaker. Like I said, they had that on there. I don't even know how that was working, but I guess it was just a little bit of a spacer. I don't know. I really have no idea. I'm baffled at the moment. But what I ended up doing is these speakers come with a cover that goes over the front of them, like that. I popped the mesh out of this one and put it behind it and used that as a spacer to mount this to the door. Not my proudest work. In there and secured. Only 2 bolts. I don't want to drill into the door anymore, but it's there. It's not going to go anywhere. And check it out. The factory cover still fits and snaps over it, and you'd never even know. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the radio install.
Lately I've been feeling brainwashed, like my sword rubbing against the grain, lost in the same sauce. I was to blame, but the wearing diamond chains cost more than I care to explain. Yeah. Lately I've been feeling out of character, bitch left cause I'm blessed up. But every day I be like 1,000 fucking miles away, blowing dope out of myself. I'm the boss of the gray.
Like I said, I've used this Kenwood radio before. This is the Excelon series. I prefer them. This car's got one in it. My van's got one in it. The gold CRX does. We just had to put one in here. So overall, sounds pretty good.
And any drowsiness that might occur when you start to take the medication will soon.
Alrighty, we've got the hood popped. As you can see here, we've got a set of OE glass headlights, halogen bulbs, factory corners, nothing fancy. Overall, I would say that these glass headlights project way better than any plastic headlights. Like compared to my Odyssey, these are way brighter, even on the high and the low beams. So we've already got a pretty good amount of light output, but I'm interested to see how the LED beams from AUXITO compare to a set of halogens. This is my low beams. These are original halogens. They're just not very bright. I mean, they really aren't. The high beams, they're not terrible. I mean, they're definitely better. But like I said, you can tell a huge difference there. This bulb here, which is our low, is just very dim. Here we are taking our first look at our AUXITO LED headlights that were sent to us to try out. First off, I love the packaging. I love a good box. If the product is half as good as the box, we are in good shape. It looks like they send you a set of gloves for when you're handling the bulbs and installing them so you don't get grease and grime on. They've got a little instruction pamphlet here. The nice thing about this is they send you some instructions. I know it's just changing a light bulb, but you get all the specifications here so you can see if this is going to be applicable with your vehicle. It gives you working temperatures, wattage, all that stuff. It also gives you a pretty good detailed instruction here. A lot of the cheaper bulbs do not. You don't get this much detail. You can see that these were specifically crafted for each different bulb. They've got 9004, 9003. I mean, just all kinds of different bulbs in there for installation guide, which is really nice. And then if you flip to this page here and kind of go through these and check and see what you've got going on and compare, and they actually do offer a warranty. So gotta hand it off to these guys. They are doing a great job. If you actually look at these guys right here, they are made out of aluminum. I know a lot of these bulbs, you know, they're cheap, they're plastic, they get hot, they melt. I've had to replace a few in the past and they're just super huge and bulky. Or if you get them, I've ran into where they've got a fan and then it's got a jumper harness that runs out. It's just real sloppy. These bulbs look like they're a direct replacement. They do have a fan driver here in the top side to actually blow heat up out the top. You know, and they look really tidy. So I'm excited to get these in the car and show you guys the comparison of the OE halogen low beams compared to these AUXITO LED beams. So without further ado, we're going to get these things put in the car. Overall install on the CRX should be pretty straightforward. So these guys right here, they have a single plug. You just push in on the tab and then press downwards and wiggle that guy off. And now that that guy is out of the way, we can go in here and twist this to the left and then remove it from the housing. It's as simple as that. Alright, so our comparison today, the bulb we took out is a Sylvania 51 watt 9006. This is a lightly used bulb, it's not very old. And now we are going to be going to an AUXITO 9006 bulb. It's made out of aluminum. It's got a nice cooling fan right here. The whole body's aluminum, which is really nice. You can see here it's got LED on this side and this side. These are supposed to be 50 watt a piece, so you don't have some crazy jump in wattage. Your electrical system should be perfectly fine. Overall, I mean, it's a surprising build quality for how inexpensive these bulbs are. But we're going to be throwing these in and comparing them to our Sylvanias. Installation ease goes like so. Alrighty. It's easy as that. I'm gonna flip them on to our running lights. Oh gosh, I can already tell the difference. That's pretty bright. And they're the bright white, so you don't get that silly blue look. I mean, I'm gonna put the beam right here in front of it. You can see it's changed the exposure on the camera just because that's so bright. They're casting more on the bumper here than those guys are. It's a lot cleaner light. I know it's daytime outside. We really won't know until we put this in a nighttime driving situation, which we are going to do in this video. We'll catch you guys here in just a little bit. I'm going to showcase the difference between these two bulbs real quick before swapping them out. As you can see here, middle perspective from the hood, that over there is more of a dingy kind of color that a halogen produces, and it doesn't quite extend all the way over. That beam just looks stronger in general. These things are bright. Oh yeah, that's way brighter. You can see here on the ground how much it projects. If I stand over here in this beam, I mean, I'm glowing. So these are definitely brighter, and it's crazy because they're the same wattage. So they're not going to tax your electrical system. You're not going to get any crazy buzz or hum or lights on the dash or anything like that. And they project so much better. Alright guys, we took a couple driving clips up on the back roads on the mountain there. As you can see, the AUXITO LED headlight bulbs are a must if you've got an older car with halogen bulbs. These things are 10 times brighter than the halogen bulbs that I was running. I'm definitely going to have to hit up AUXITO and get some high beam bulbs for this thing. It just changed the whole vibe of the car. I love the way the LEDs look. They're so much more radiant, I feel like, just coming down the road. I really do think new LED bulbs can change the entire look of a car, so we're definitely going to have to do these outers. But overall, I'm very pleased with them. Headlight bulbs, high beams, low beams. They also have some car accessories as well, jump start packs, things of that nature. If you want to get some for your ride, just type in the code SPICYTV in the discount bar, and there will be a direct link underneath this video and future videos. You just got to click that and it automatically enrolls you in for that 15% off. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to head over to their website, check it out. It would mean the world to me, and it does mean the world to me that you guys stuck around this long. But with that being said, I think that's going to wrap up our video here, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out. Thank you guys. Have a good night.